Nigeria winning the World Cup or Inter Lagos winning the CAF Champions League at some point.
Inter Lagos.
Welcome to the Emeka Nwani Show, brought to you by Our House Studios. Here I'll bring interesting discussions with leading individuals in various fields, discussing their successes, setbacks, and everything in between. I also hope I can bring one or two laughs along the way. Hi, welcome to the Emeka Nwani Show. I'm your host, Emeka Nwani, and today I have a special guest in the building, the co-founder and chairman of Inter Lagos FC and Plug Sports, Lanre Vigo. Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Honestly, it's an honor to have you on. And I reached out to you specifically because you're doing some really amazing things in the football space, things that we all dreamt of doing, and you're actually playing them out. So it's an honor to have you on the show. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a crazy year.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I DM'd Larry for you guys. I DM'd Larry like a week or two ago, and I was just left on red. My guy is busy, very busy at the moment, but no, it's great to have you on the show, bro.
Thank you so much.
So what I wanted to do this for was, it's one thing to, be passionate about football, to talk about football, to want to make a difference, but it's another thing to actually make a difference in sports in general. And I feel you're doing that. And I want to highlight that, not for me or for us, is I want people to see what you're doing, and for people and young men and women to have a template of what they can do, how they can do what you're doing, and how we can continue to grow sports in Nigeria, So again, I commend you. So to start, what I always want to know is what makes someone who they are, right? So you've come into the space doing amazing things, as I mentioned. So I want to know what makes Lanre? Like, what was your upbringing like? How was things with your mom growing up? Was she strict? Did she support your passion for football? Like, how was that growing up for you?
So I grew up with my mom and my grandma.
And your grandma, okay.
So when I first told them about football and all, they're like, no, you have to focus
of course,
on your books. But just being the sort of guy I am, I just still kept on playing football.
Yeah.
And then obviously eventually, fast forward to being an adult, they started believing in it. They started seeing that,
like, the results.
Yeah, so people would go and tell them, your son is good at football, or this is what your son is doing, this is how he's impacted. Because from an early age, I think I've impacted a lot of people. So they used to go back and give my mom and my grandma the feedback. So for me, it's always about helping people. Helping people. Immediately I meet someone, I'm already thinking, how can I help this person?
I think it's very important to say, growing up, and even till now, Larry was always one of the legendary ballers. I remember growing up, we used to have battles, BIS versus White Sands. Even in Maidaville in the UK, we used to have our battles on the pitch. Until now, he was still one of the best players. I would say you always had that versatility, the intelligence, the match intelligence, obviously the ability. And it's great to see that you carry that on into like another sphere in football, right? So that intelligence, you don't lose it, whether it's on the pitch or in business, right? So you said your mom, they started seeing the results and started encouraging you more and more. So would you say like that drive was in you to do something in football, even if it wasn't to be a professional? Because we'll touch on your semi-professional career later on. But like, did you have that drive to do something in football, even if it wasn't to be a full-on professional?
Oh yes, 100%. It was always going to be sports. I remember my graduation at White Sands. In the yearbook, I think it says, they ask everyone what their future. I mean, I was like professional footballer. So I always knew it was always going to be sports. Eventually, when I'm done with football, I'll either transition to either being a coach or an agent. So I knew this was my path.
Well, your path.
100%.
Would you say growing up, were you always the best or one of the best in your year groups from primary to secondary school to uni?
What's funny is primary school, I was actually not good.
Really?
I was actually
where did you go, by the way?
I went to St. Saviour's.
St. Saviour's, okay.
Okay. I think it was it was primary 6 that the PE teacher was like, they're going to play an all-star game against the school team. Because we had done the inter-house football competition. They said I stood out. I was still thinking
you weren't.
I wasn't good. I played in the all-star game.
Okay.
The next week there, like the PE teacher is like, we have a competition in St. Saviour's Ikoyi. We want you to be a part of the team.
And from then on,
it's been
Because White Sands, your name is still etched on the walls. Legend.
Yeah, White
How was that?
White Sands too was the entrance exam. Part of it was to play a football match. So they threw like 100 of us on the pitch, and somehow I stood out again, and the sports coach already highlighted me and said, when you come into the school.
Would you say you developed your game and like the intelligence? Like obviously you're not 6'5" or whatever. Would you say you had to develop that intelligence in your game, maybe because you faced maybe kids that were bigger or stronger, so you had to like refine your skills or abilities, or did that not ever really come to your mind at all?
It didn't really.
It was just a natural thing.
Yes, I think it was just natural.
And do you feel like you never felt maybe any like disadvantage to some of the bigger kids growing up?
No,
like on the pitch?
Not really. For me, on the pitch, we're basically all equal. So
because I mean, we all know like especially in football, size, ability, what you have upstairs and on your feet that matters, right? So okay, so after White Sands, you went to.
I went to Malvern. In England. They actually tried out for a scholarship. I went to the school, trained with the school team. Immediately again. The ability was clear. Yeah, the coach, Matty Cleo, was like, this guy is good. I want him to come. But I didn't get the scholarship because I didn't pass the economics exam. So, but the school still wanted me on board. So immediately I got into the school. I was already in the first team. I
think the one that what really stood out to me was the Clapton FC. Again, I think that shows your drive and determination, because a lot of us at that stage wanted to be football players. I remember I was quite good as well, but I got to university and like those cold winter days, and you're facing all these, they want to put you up front, and you're facing all these, these English centre backs. And like, I was just like, you know what, like, I'm not enjoying this. But like, you actually pursued it and you played semi-professionally at Clapton FC. So what was that experience like? How tough was it? Like, what was that experience, especially as a Nigerian kid playing semi-pro in the UK?
So the journey to even get into Clapton was actually crazy. I went through a lot of downs. After A-levels, when I got to university, I was playing for a local side there. I got a tryout with Chelmsford City in the Conference South. I was playing for their reserve team. At the end of that season, they released us because they were actually going to promote some of us to the first team, but I think there was a rift between the reserve manager and first team manager, so they just scrapped the reserve team. So I was thinking, so I'm going to go back to Northampton. I went back. So for me, I'm a very determined person. I don't give up easily. Even when I was playing for the side in Northampton, it was called Northampton Spencer. I remember my first game, they brought me on as a sub and took me off as a sub. Yeah, which
confidence breaker, of course,
exactly.
Of course.
They told me just keep coming. I was like, look, I haven't even trained with you guys. Let me even train. Training, they put me on the match day squad for like 6 weeks straight. I was on the bench.
Wow.
We would travel 2 hours, away games, crazy.
All weather. I know. I can imagine how tough that was.
It was mad. And I remember when they eventually brought me on, the manager, I can't remember why he wasn't around. So his assistant took charge, and we were even losing that game. We were losing, I think, 2-1. And I think it was 10 minutes left. The manager was just like, look, just go and play. And I went on and we equalized. I assisted the equalizer, and I think we drew that game. And I remember everyone going into the changing room, everybody jumping on me.
Well, you changed your position around that time, right?
Yeah, so I actually went to this, I went to the Bobby Charlton Academy. And you know how it is in England, because I was a striker then. They're like, you're too small to play. So they pushed me onto the wing. I didn't mind, because at least I still get the opportunity to score goals. So I didn't mind. So I was playing as a 7, and one of my idols was David Beckham. Of course. I was very happy to play there. It wasn't an issue. So I remember we got into the changing room, everybody was jumping on me, happy, blah, blah, blah. So I remember at the end of that season, they asked that particular manager, like at our awards night. They asked him what was like the highlight of his season, and he was just like, he just pointed at me and said,
moment.
yeah, bringing me on, because I think we were even facing relegation.
How much confidence did that give you at the time?
A lot. In fact, I think the following season I had the opportunity to go on trial with Birmingham City.
Oh wow, okay.
So I went there. So it was a, how do I put it? It was a match, or it was full of like boys that had been released from other academies. I think I was the only one that wasn't from any proper academy. Yeah, we played that match. I got there early, and I don't know why. The reserve team manager for Birmingham City was like, he just said I want you to play CM. And I was thinking,
had you ever played? You haven't played that
I hadn't
before?
played CM at that level.
Okay.
I hadn't played CM at that level. And
I think that's, I don't know, for me, I think that's like the toughest position to play.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Physicality, brains, you need everything to be in top. To be in top.
And obviously, me, I'd been playing as a winger, striker. And obviously, when you go on trial, you don't tell them I can't play. Of course. You have to, as a footballer, you have to be able to adapt. And I couldn't tell the guy no.
Yeah, of course.
So it was a crazy game. Like the running I did that day, it was madness, because, like I said, I hadn't played that position at that level. I think I still did all right. My team played. We won. I think Jack Butland was actually one of the keepers.
Okay.
That day, I can't remember properly, but I think it was him. Yeah. So that's just to show you that it was there were a lot of potential. There were good players there. So I remember getting a call from the agent that organized the trial for me like a couple of days after, saying, "Oh, you didn't get him, but don't worry, we're going to go to Germany." That he will line up a couple of trials. So I remember getting ready that summer. I'm going to Germany. The opportunity is going to be there for me. So I remember getting to Germany the first night, stayed in a hotel. It was me and 3 other boys. One was from Arsenal. And
before you go on, can I just ask, like, because I also want to delve into like your mindset and how you were, what you were thinking at that time. How mentally draining and tasking was it for you? Or was it just you were just chasing a dream and you didn't feel it? Or was it like mentally draining, tasking, did you have times where you wanted to give up?
No. There was never a time when I thought I wanted to give up, because the sort of person I am, I know another opportunity will come. So there's no need to dwell on something that didn't go wrong. Another thing will come, it will go right. You know what to do to correct it. So getting to Germany, we were there for like 10 days. You won't believe that. Wow. We didn't trial once until the last day.
Wow.
Because what happened was the agents will go to, where didn't we go in Germany? And we're going by road.
Wow.
So we'll get to a club. We went to Dortmund.
Okay.
I remember him going into the office saying he's a FIFA licensed agent, showed his card, telling them, oh, he has some boys in the car wanting a trial.
Okay.
But they were all like, oh, we need their videos, because we were already getting to the age of it's not just submitting paper CV anymore. It's about they want to see videos. Obviously, when you even send those videos in, it takes time for them to analyze it and make sure, okay, this is the sort of person we want. So that's those 10 days going from different hotels, I was broke by the end.
And then you have to support yourself.
Exactly. Me, I saved money up for that summer, but it was also my family was in Nigeria.
Yeah, of course.
Trying to get them to send money across to me was just long. So I was broke. I just quickly had to call an aunt in England to quickly help me buy a ticket to come back to England. It was madness. Even like I said, we all even got broke. So we now had to stay with some random guy in some random city in Germany. We were staying in his apartment. We were sleeping. It was a 1-bedroom place. We were sleeping on the floor. But for me, it was just like, man, this is a part of the hustle.
Yeah, you're chasing your dream.
Yeah, this only just makes my story better when I eventually tell people. So I didn't mind. But we came back to England. A few of the guys, I think they stopped playing football, but me, I just continued. I was just like...
So that when Clapton FC...
No, Clapton...
So how did that come about?
Clapton, actually... I remember there was some guy I was training with, because there are all these agents around England. So the guy was like, oh, that I'm just coming back, because then I was just coming back from a crazy Achilles injury.
Okay.
So he was like, look, come and try out for this team, but you have to pay. You have to pay, was it £50? I said, no, I paid the £50 and then played in the trial game. I hadn't played in 3 months. I'd put on weight and whatnot, but
you still went for it.
I still went for it. I don't think I played exceptionally, but after that game, the Clapton manager just ran onto the pitch.
Wow.
And he was like, I want to sign you.
Okay.
How old are you? He even thought he thought I was much younger.
Okay.
Because of even the way I was playing and the way I look. And I told him my age. Clapton, I was either 26 or 27.
Okay.
And even the plan was even to play only like 5 games at Clapton and push on.
Okay, and try, okay.
But I was enjoying it. It was
So what was that experience like? So when you got after he said he wanted to sign you, then you signed.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like playing semi-pro, non-league in the UK? So match to match, what was the level like? What were the challenges?
It was very physical.
Yeah.
Very physical. But me, I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed the battle. So then I became a defender.
Fullback, yeah.
I was a right back.
Yeah.
So I always enjoyed it. I always used to look at my opponents like, you're going to suffer today. You're not going to get past me. So, and then also at Clapton, it was a unique team because we had like a huge following. Like every match game would have
ultras.
Yes, exactly. People that were going to research you online, be tweeting about you. They would even put you in their bio. Because I remember one guy on his bio, it says Lanre Vigo, official supporter or something like that.
Okay.
So I was like, whoa.
Wow.
And then obviously the atmosphere in the stadium when we're playing, even at night, like these guys are there shouting. They even had a chant for me. I can't remember it sadly now, but I remember I used to hear something Lanre Vigo on the wing. So Clapton was one of the best. I think it was one of the best decisions I made football-wise.
Okay, so after Clapton, so this first segment, I just want to talk about your background before we talk about the main thing and what you're doing today and the impact you're making. But after Clapton, how did you end up coming back? And what was your thought process? Was it a difficult process leaving the UK and maybe realizing that maybe your dream to be in the top leagues didn't come true? What was that process and mental process like for you?
So actually, whilst I was at Clapton, I actually got the opportunity to go on trial with Gillingham in League One.
Yeah, League One.
It was actually my priest at church that hooked me up because he was asking me, what do I do? And for some reason, I just told him I'm a professional footballer. But I was like, I don't have a club. And luckily for me that day, after he asked me that, the person that walked past was the owner of Gillingham, his dad. And he just told the guy, Peter, meet Lanre. Lanre, meet Peter. You guys talk. And the man said, bring your CV. I ran home because my church wasn't too far from her. I ran home, printed out my CV, ran back to the guy's house, submitted the CV, and then I was just waiting for a phone call. And then one day, like I think maybe like 2 weeks after, I woke up, I saw a voicemail, and I played it. And the person was like, oh, this is Peter Taylor from Gillingham Football Club that they got my CV. They want me to come down for a trial. And me, I didn't know who Peter Taylor was. So I quickly Googled him, and I saw who he was. And I was like, this is a big man in England, in English football. He's even the former England manager. So I called back immediately and was like, I'm ready to come. And I went the next day. So what went from So basically, the next day, I quickly went to... Gillingham wasn't too far from my side. I remember getting there very early. They said get there for... Training starts at 9. Me, I got there at 6:30.
Wow.
Because I wanted to give a good impression. And then I remember I was the first person in the changing room. And from that time when I got in to when the first player came in, it was one of the most nervous moments ever because the whole time I was just thinking about everything, like all the software,
all the efforts you put, everything.
Yeah. My body was even shaking.
Yeah.
The whole time. But when the players came in, like they were very, very, very nice guys, cool guys. They just introduced themselves to myself, asked me where I was coming from. I told them Clapton, and they were like, because the jump from Clapton to
League One,
is,
of course,
is quite high.
It's a lot, yeah.
So I remember it was myself and some guy from Brighton that were on trial. So got into the session. I think I was doing all right. Then one of the coaches was like, so we are going to play a 7-a-side game. And one of the coaches was like, look, it's you guys that will pick yourselves.
Okay.
So they picked 2 guys, they called them, pick players. And I was the first pick.
Had you already trained?
Yeah, so we had done some small side like
Okay,
keep ball. And then I'm thinking, how come this guy picked me immediately? I was like, okay, maybe it's even because maybe I'm on trial.
Okay.
But I asked the guy later and he was like, no, because you stood out in the keep ball. So we played. It was fantastic. I was winning headers against guys that are 6 foot. I don't know how I did it, but I did this. Maybe I pushed them a little, but anyways, I did that. And then at the end of the trial, I spoke with the coach, the head coach, and Peter Taylor. And they were like, look, we like what we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to come again.
Mm-hmm.
So we went from a 1-day trial to come back.
Okay.
So I went back the next day. But the mistake I made was that day after the session, I should have just gone home and slept and recovered. Because it was quite intense.
Okay.
Like I said, going from Clapton, semi-pro to that
League
level
One.
of pro, it was a lot on the body. But I didn't know. I just went home. I went out. Even though I didn't go, it was not like I went clubbing or anything. I just went for dinner.
Yeah.
And I came back home. So obviously the next day again, I went, my body hadn't recovered properly.
Yeah.
So I went home, I went to Gillingham the next day. I got there early again. So I hadn't recovered properly. So during the session on the second day, I felt
you pulled.
Yeah. And I knew exactly what it was. Like it wouldn't take it would heal in like less than a week because I'd suffered it before. So like we played an 11-a-side game. During this, I wasn't really moving properly. And because I'm a right-footed player, it was quite obvious that I was struggling. So they even wanted us to do like a shooting practice. The coach was like, come and shoot. I was like,
if your quad is good, I can't do it. You can't.
So I went back to the changing room. The physio was looking at it and he was like, that I just need to rest it properly. So I had a talk again with the coach and Peter Taylor, and they were like, just recover and come back. But you wouldn't believe between that period of when I was meant to go and recover and come back, they sacked the coach.
Oh.
They sacked the coach. And then unlucky. The new guy they brought in was like, he's not looking for any trials. He needs the team because they were in the relegation zone. So they needed to they had more experienced players in the league. So after that experience, I was just like, you know what, maybe it's time to start. Because I think I was 28 or so. Oh, no, I was 27. Because I remember I was like, at age 27, getting a trial with a professional team is unheard of.
So is that when the thoughts to start coming back to Nigeria?
Yeah, so, well, not even coming back to Nigeria. I was just becoming an agent.
Okay.
Yeah, I started like speaking to my friends that were agents that, look, I'm thinking about transitioning to an agent.
Okay, so I think after the break, I think we'll get into that journey from the transition from a football player to an agent.
Yeah.
So Lanre, so as part of the show, we have a segment where we do quick fire questions, okay? So we just want to gauge your thoughts on a few things. And it's a very interesting question I have here, and I want to see your answer to it. So the first one, something very light. Texting or talking?
Talking.
Okay. Ronaldo or Messi?
Ronaldo.
Of course. Okay, what's your favorite TV show of all time? And a quick description as to why. Tough one, I know.
That's tough.
The first one on top of your head.
You guys will laugh. Gossip Girl. Only because I love New York, and they showed like so many parts of New York, so it just made me.
It just always stood out to you. All right. Favorite player of all time. Favorite football player of all time.
Cristiano
Ronaldo.
100%.
Again, okay. Favorite Super Eagles player of all time. That's an interesting one.
I think Osaze Odemwingie.
Really?
I know, it's very... He just... I don't know.
He just stood out to you.
Yeah, he just stood out. Every game I saw him playing, He was always
He was the
scoring.
one. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, interesting pick. I'd have thought maybe a Kanu or Kocha, one of those guys.
No,
Nah,
Osaze.
Osaze. Nigeria, this is the interesting one. Not to hear your thoughts.
Mm.
Nigeria winning the World Cup or Inter Lagos winning the CAF Champions League at some point.
Inter Lagos.
Okay, fair enough. Favorite Nigerian artist currently?
Davido.
Chop. Would you rather travel 20 years into the past or 20 years into the future?
Into the future.
Why? Just give me a brief reason why.
I think for me, everything has played out how it's meant to be.
Meant to be, right? So
I'm just curious to see what's next. What lies ahead.
Would you rather, another interesting one, would you rather win the lottery or win an election? I know you're the man of the people, so.
Election.
Okay, I think that's all I have for this one. So yeah, it's great hearing some of your answers. I'll say I was most surprised about the Osaze and obviously Gossip Girl, but I kind of understand Gossip Girl. But Osaze, I'm surprised. Yeah. I knew it was a very iconic player, right? Mm-hmm. But I was a bit surprised at that one. So Lanre, transitioning from a football player to an agent, how did that come about? What was your thought process when you thought, okay, let me delve into this area? So how did that come about?
So it was two things: either become an agent or become a coach.
Okay.
I've done my level 1.
Oh, coaching badges.
Yeah,
okay.
I did that, I think, in 2019. So I was having conversations with a lot of like young agents that were doing quite well. Bukayo Saka's agent. Okay. One of my friends, Rotimi.
Ojo.
Yeah. So they had been in the business, like when we were hustling to play, they were hustling to become agents. So I spoke to them about it. And then I remember one day I was working with Bizu in Mayfair, and Saka's agent drove past because I think we were going to meet him or something.
Okay.
And I was just telling him that, look, I'm looking to start my own sports agency or become an agent. And he was like, oh, let's partner.
Okay.
Let's do it together. Like, Plug is already an established brand in Nigeria. So let's work together. And it was sort of easy, like partnering with him and Asa, because my relationship with Asa. So I called Asa immediately. I was like, oh man, I was talking to Bizo.
So what year was this?
This was 2019.
Okay.
This was 2019. So the plan was for me to come to Nigeria in 2020 to set up the business and start getting familiar.
So was it clear for you from the beginning that you wanted to establish this in Nigeria and get grassroots talent from Nigeria?
Yeah. Because for us it was, it was, there was a gap between how Nigerian or African players are being treated from how the Europeans, the Americans are being treated. Let's make them cool. And the way we decided to start it was we would be like the off the field agents first, because the sort of clients we're trying to target, they're not just going to leave their agents and let us start managing them. So we obviously had to show them that, look, we can do this, we can get you the endorsement deals. Basically, we're the plug for everything. So remember, before the ending of 2019, we had a meeting with Henry Onyekuru.
Okay.
We spoke to him about it. Someone was able to introduce me to him, a guy called Emeka 212.
Okay.
So we had the meeting with Henry, explained the vision to him because we're still starting then. And he came on board. He bought into it. I think we announced Henry in December. I think it was December 26th or something like that.
Yeah.
Which was loud because it was everywhere. Everybody was
like, I remember. I remember
that Plug or Lanre is managing Henry. So people wanted to know. I was getting a lot of phone calls like, what's the deal? And so I came to Nigeria in January to set up the business, like I said, and then COVID struck.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so I remember I'd just come back from, we had been hearing about COVID, but I'd just come back from Turkey. I went to see Henry in Turkey. We had some meetings in Turkey because I was trying to get him a deal in Turkey. So I'd just come back from Turkey, and then they closed the airport in Nigeria. They closed the airport in Turkey. So there was no business, especially like because of what we were
And
trying to do.
you're just
I
starting.
was
So that
just
must have been
starting.
a very frustrating time.
2020 was one of the worst years ever. Like, we didn't do any business. We didn't make any money. I was just spending. I think I was even broke at one point in 2020. So for me, officially, Plug Sports started 2021. But within that 2020, we were still able to sign Assisat
as well,
which was a huge deal.
So take us behind the scenes. So those kinds of meetings, when you're trying to recruit players, right? So what goes on in those types of meetings? How, again, I like to delve into the mindset. Like, is it nerve-wracking? Is it, are you like very you're obviously very passionate about it, but are you excited by these meetings? What do you say to them to, to separate yourselves? Because, agents sometimes get a bad rep because, sometimes it just looks like they're trying to make money off these players or exploit them in some way. But with the Plug especially, it seems like you guys are trying to do things the right way. You are able to evaluate potential. And you're able to go for players that, obviously have talent, but you're also looking at the people themselves as well. So what's the mindset when you're in these meetings?
One, I'm excited when I'm in the room or when I'm speaking to these people. But also because I used to play. So I let them know that, look, I used to play. I can play. It was just, this is what God decided for myself. So I let them know that I know how it feels to be in their shoes. Like, I would not come and be disturbing you after you've lost. That come and post this or come and do this.
Yeah. Of course, you understand how it feels as an athlete.
I think that makes them a little bit more comfortable. And then also the brand itself, the Plug, they know that, okay, these guys can get me what I want. And then when I explain the vision to them, I let them know that, look, I'm not a magician or a miracle worker. I will do my best to help you get or achieve what you want to achieve. It's a partnership. It's not like where this boss. No. We're all working together because at the end of the day, if you're not performing on the pitch, then I can't do my job off the pitch. And if
like if you're not doing your own part, it could affect them as well.
Exactly. So them knowing that I used to play, I think makes a lot of them a bit settled.
So another question I had in terms of grassroots, and I mean, we'll delve more into some of your clients and the challenges of the agent space. But in terms of grassroots, again, it's another thing where you actually pursue something that people kind of run away from. And now, finally, I think as a society, even with people like 54 Football X, who, I'm very passionate about as well. And I saw you even did a short interview with them. So grassroots is very, very important. And I think as Nigerians, sometimes we're very guilty of just focusing on Premier League, La Liga, all these things, right? Without actually growing our own base. And I see you're always on ground. Like, you're always on ground in the places where nobody wants to go to find talent. So that passion and the work ethic to be able to do that, where you're going, like today, you were meant to travel to Enugu for, to also, continue to grow grassroots. So where did that passion come from for grassroots? And, how much talent has been wasted over the years for people, for that neglect of, that sector of Nigerian football?
I think maybe it has to do with us because when we were growing up here in Nigeria, there weren't really any opportunities. And then now that I'm in a position that I can help young people. So for me, I can do it. So why shouldn't I do it? Why am I?
The talent is there.
The talent is there. We're one of the most talented. Nigeria has one of the biggest talent pool in the world.
Yeah, for sure.
From sports to entertainment to everything. And like I said, I'm in a position to help people in the grassroots. I don't want to see wasted talent. It's one of the most annoying things when you hear, oh, this person was good, but you hear Nigeria was the problem. So for me, it's about helping people. Like I said, when I meet somebody and I see that, okay, they're talented, they're passionate.
Like you said, even like growing up, again, not to speak too highly of ourselves, but like I feel it in our generation, in our circle, I feel there are lots of talented players, right?
100%.
Even like at a certain point, I guess development, it might be difficult, but like even from like the age of like 8 to like 13, I feel there were crazy talents, right?
100%.
And it's like, if there was a pathway, it would have, I think it would have made so much of a difference to us.
100%. Like, we didn't have good coaches. Like, when, I'm sure for you too, you'd have noticed when you moved from Nigeria to England, the coaching was completely different. What we were learning when we got there, what they're trying to teach us, the actual English kids had learned from age 8, age 9. So we missed out on a lot, and I don't want the next generation to miss out. I would love for Nigeria to win the World Cup in our lifetime. We should. We have the talent. So I don't see. For me, it's about helping Nigeria.
So apart from, let's say, bringing in these people to plug, like, what do you think? Like, how can we, with coaching, what can we do to improve coaches or to improve the way players are taught, to get them to academies? Like, what do you think this, like, the long-term solution is? I know that's a very tough question, but like, what do you think we can do to continue to develop the young Nigerian footballers?
It's about educating them from the start, from the very, 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 very start.
So we need to
even
include
from
schools,
the players to the coaches, because if you don't have good coaches, you're not going to have good players. It's just going to be raw talent, but it won't be fine-tuned. So we need to work on the coaches, sort of people that are coaching the players, even if it has to be that we have to bring in coaches from abroad to come and teach our own coaches. It's also like school. You have to have good teachers for students to
if the coaches aren't good, then the players
are not.
Can't
the chances,
be good.
Like you notice with our players, it's not that they're technically good or whatever. It's the raw talent these scouts abroad see, and they're like, okay, we can work with this one.
Polish it. But sometimes it seems like they don't leave that development where you can see the talent, but the decision making, certain things are just lacking compared to some of our.
I was watching a training session the other day, and it was adults playing a professional team, and they were teaching them how to head. And I'm like, really? This is what you should have learned when you were like 14, not when you're a professional and in salary, that they're teaching you how to head.
Okay, so going back to the agency business, I think I just want to touch on a few things. So we're looking at, you've spoken now about how you get certain clients and things like that. But like, what are the challenges would you say you face in that industry, especially as a young guy? Like, I would say you're definitely one of the most successful agents in the country, and being a young man, like, what are the challenges you face in that industry, do you think? What are the biggest challenges?
I think I'm still a baby in the industry. I'm still
humble.
I'm still
but you're doing great things, of course. But the ceiling, the best is yet to come.
For sure. I believe so. As it is in other industries in Nigeria, as a young person, they don't want to give you an opportunity immediately. They're like, you have to pay your dues and whatnot. But I'm like, if someone is good at something, give them the opportunity. Why hold it to yourselves? Give the person an opportunity. At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is, apart from putting money in our pockets, we want to better the country. We want to make sure our sports stars, we want to be able to invite our guys from England, wherever, come and watch a match in Nigeria, because it's lit, the atmosphere is good, they're good players.
It's to benefit everyone at the end of the day, and benefit the country.
It's even if you're like an OG, and at least we will still give you the credit. So don't try and shut the door on someone, a young person. I think we should encourage. I don't think when I'm an older agent, I would be shutting the door on younger people. But my own is to, okay, come, see this opportunity, encourage.
I think that's something with, I don't know if it's a Nigerian thing or a human being thing. I think sometimes we like to hoard knowledge because you want to be the only person there, right? But if there are more people in the space, if your long-term goal is for betterment of the country and the industry, I think that can only help.
100%.
But like, I think there's that hoarding mentality. Like, I must hold my own. No one, which is just.
There's a lot of money in the world. I don't get why people are greedy. I don't get, like, there's more than enough.
You have to usher in the next generation.
Exactly. So there's that difficulty. Then for me also, another thing I look out for, like, in players, and I won't say they're there, but what I always look out for is the mind of the player.
Okay.
Is the person a good person?
Okay.
Because it's very important. You can have all the talent in the world and whatnot, but if you're not a good person, then I can't work with you.
Doesn't fit with what you're trying to do. So just to list off some of the players you're obviously working with and clients you have. So there's Israel Adesanya, Michel Alozie, Asisat Oshola, Frank Onyeka, Henyo Ikiru, as we mentioned. Who else am I missing? Said Uchenna Kanu as well.
Did you say Michel Alozie?
Yeah, but so again, that's a fantastic list for someone that is like, let's say 5 years in the industry. So you're doing great things, and again, I commend you. We commend you. So what would you say for someone that wants to get into this space? Let's say a younger Lanre Vigo that knows, okay, maybe I'm not gonna be able to make it as a professional footballer. Like, are there steps that you can take to maybe try and get in this space, or is it something that maybe is a bit more abstract than that? So what do you think? What can you say to that?
I would say, one, you have to be hungry. You have to be hungry for success.
It's tough because you're on ground.
Exactly. Like you have to go to the places where others wouldn't
want to go.
You have to be humble also. You have to be humble also. If you're looking for a role, I would say there are not that many sports agencies also. So it's always good to do a sports management course.
Okay.
I didn't do one, but that's because I feel like I got it. I learned firsthand. I saw it. It happened right in front of me.
So you'd advise a young person to do that.
Yeah, to do that, because from those courses, your course mates, you never know who you're doing the course with. So you could meet someone there, maybe like myself now. If I go and do it now, you could meet someone like myself now that can introduce you to this person, that person.
I get you. Yes, I get you.
Yeah. You could be on a course with maybe someone that maybe their dad owns a football club. You have to it's all about, you have to build a lot of connections.
Networking opportunities.
Exactly.
So in this space, what would you say, we're going to get to your next venture soon, but in the space, would you say you have any targets, goals, or you just want to keep on doing what you're doing and expanding your client list? Are there any things you're trying to do specifically as an agent? Would you move into other sports potentially?
Or? I mean, yeah. So like, I felt like at a point where done well football-wise. We have the biggest names in football in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So we transitioned into athletics.
Okay.
Also
Toby
Amuson have the biggest person.
Okay, yeah, no, fantastic.
Athletics. Yeah. And then I also felt the opportunity came to work with Israel Adesanya. What's funny is that the opportunity came in 2020.
Okay, really? Okay.
Yeah, it actually came in 2020, but it didn't work out. And then 2020, fast forward 2023.
So please, I'm sure people want to know how did that connection come about with Israel? Because he's one of the most electrifying, entertaining people in sports. So how did that come about? And with Michelle as well, I think people will also want to know how that happened.
Okay, so with Israel, I got introduced to someone that was very close with his dad.
Okay.
And the person spoke about myself, the plug, what we do. So we had a meeting. I had a meeting with his dad.
Okay.
Had a meeting with his main agent.
Okay.
But at the time, maybe I wasn't good at pitching myself then. So it fell through. But
this was in 2020?
This was in 2020 that I just started. So, I mean, I was a little bit hurt, but I was like, we move. So fast forward to 2023, the conversation came up again, and obviously they had seen what I'd been able to do between 2020 and 2023. So it was almost like a no-brainer. Let's do this thing.
So who was in this new meeting? Who was in the meeting? How did it?
It was his dad, his main agent. Yeah. So it was a smooth thing. And then luckily for us, Asa was in New Zealand with Davido.
Oh wow! So perfect. Yeah.
So a lot of people think that because he was already signed to us, he was on stage.
Okay.
But at that time, we hadn't even signed. It was maybe like a week after, but we had been going back with negotiations with the contract. So
what's he like?
He's cool.
He's cool. Okay, so with Michelle, how did that come about? Obviously, she played a huge role for Falcons.
with Michelle, she actually reached out
Okay.
to us. She reached out. She messaged Asa, and so I had a meeting with her, and we just sort of aligned
In that way.
immediately. She like you said, she had a great World Cup. So
Yeah.
it's about now her expanding, well, getting to know people here in Nigeria and seeing what opportunities she could get. So
if someone asks you what's the most important thing you would like to do for your clients in terms of not necessarily move them to here or here, but like when it comes to your clients, what's the most important thing or like value added you want to give them?
I think maybe it's the satisfaction of them saying they want something and I get it for them. Or they want to do an event, I do it and they're happy. Because I remember last year, Asisat's celebrity match, she called me after and she was like, bro, I had fun.
Yeah.
That was perfect for me. That was perfect for me. So when a client tells me they want something and I get it for them.
And you can sense the satisfaction.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think to end, we'll be looking at your new venture as the co-founder and chairman of Interlagos FC. Again, Lanre, so congratulations on Interlagos FC.
Thank you.
Co-founder,
Thank you.
chairman. Again, doing great things at a young age. And again, we just have to commend you.
Thank you.
So please just tell us, how did that come about? I remember when you posted it on social media, everyone went crazy because like how the hell did this just happen? So can you just give us like some background info, like how that came about and how it's going so far?
So I've always known that, I've always said to myself I was going to own a football team.
Okay.
But I thought it would be when I'm much older and whatnot. But the opportunity came earlier this year. So I'd met my other co-founder and we were thinking of what to do in the sports space. And he was like, we should do a restaurant league. And I was like, man, that's going to be, it's going to be long to be organizing a restaurant league. So imagine like calling Slow and all these places to bring players. How can we even verify that these people actually work at their restaurants? Like, maybe we should start a team. And then I think my co-founder disappeared for like a month or two. And then he calls me and he's like, bro, let's do this. A football team. And there was excitement in my head, like everything. I was like, cool, let's do it. So we met, even our other co-founder, the three of us met, spoke about like the sort of football team we want to build or have, the issues in Nigerian football and how we'll go about it. And we registered the company.
Again, taking these steps, what's your mindset? Are you like excited? I think for me, sometimes when I get anxious about things, like it's because I really want to do it. And it's like that anxiety, but it's that excitement as well. So for you, like those moments, like are you like, you know what, I've made my mind up, I'm going for it. Like I'm excited to do this and nothing is stopping me. Or is there any bit of like apprehension or anything where you're just like, you know what, let's do this, let's go for it?
No, I was just like, yeah, let's do it. I was excited, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, let's get it done. I was already thinking of how we could already like what the name of the team could be, the base of the team, how we'll find players, getting the slot in the NNL because obviously we started in the NNL.
Of course.
Registering the football team, we thought about everything, and we're like, yeah.
Even the name was just perfect as well. Like it just came up with like Interlagos FC.
Yeah, so I was thinking like, there's Inter Milan, there's AC Milan, there's Inter Miami. Lagos is an iconic city or state. It's time let Lagos have something like this, and we came up with the name International Lagos, short Interlagos.
So in terms of what's the process in terms of getting an NNL sports, because you don't have to divulge maybe like personal details or private details, but like in terms of how difficult was that to do? Like what were the main challenges in terms of getting this done?
So we had to find a team that didn't want to play in the league anymore. So we just spoke to them and
were able
to reach an agreement. And then the madness started.
So how your day-to-day now, what would you say Actually, before we even get into that, there's just more background information. So you set up your team, you've got your colors. So in terms of recruiting players, how did that go?
So we started interviewing people for the role of the head coach, general manager, chief scouts. So we spoke to a lot of people. But with the coach, so basically what happened was, after every interview with every potential head coach, myself and my partners will maybe talk the next day.
Okay.
But with this particular coach, immediately after we spoke, we were like, this is the guy for the job. So we actually first hired a chief scout.
Okay.
Then we hired the coach, they hired the general manager. So we started to think, how can we get players that... Because one thing I told the coach is I want, apart from their ability, they have to be good people. Because we don't want a situation where players are playing us. We want people that are upstanding citizens. And even the sort of people we want, even when they leave the club, they're better than they came. Not just their ability, but as human beings. So we went through a very, very long recruitment phase. They had to bring in players from all around the country, camp them.
Were there a lot of trials? Or?
A lot. We camped them. We were feeding them twice a day, which I don't think is done in trials in Nigeria. But we were feeding the players because we want to do things differently in Inter Lagos. So that was...
So would you say you have a philosophy like for your team? So maybe like how you want like I said, recruitment. So you said you want good people, good human beings as well. Do you have a style of play you want your coach to implement, or do you leave? You know how there's some owners that like now try to start, imprinting their beliefs on things in the coach, or do you have just let the coach handle the style of play and handle the football aspect?
Yeah, so we just let the coach, and we don't want to be those.
Yeah, not Abramovich.
No, well, not Abramovich, but we're not those owners that are
too hands-on.
Controlling. Okay, no. You said you can do the job, right? I'll give you the job. My own is we produce results.
So what's your day-to-day like now as a co-founder, chairman? I guess you're handling all aspects.
It is madness because I'm doing Inter Lagos, I'm doing Plug Sports at the same time. So it is madness. These days when I go to sleep, I don't go to sleep. I pass out.
Wow.
I pass out. So...
But you're enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it. I'm not complaining at all. I'm enjoying it. Like every single step.
Well, you know you have to rest too.
Yeah.
So day to day, obviously very, very long hours, and you said obviously the challenge of juggling both ventures. But with Inter Lagos now, what are your goals? What are your aims in the next few years? Because obviously we know it's tough. Obviously it's tough owning a club. It's tough in the Nigerian environment. But what would you say your goals and aims are for the club?
To be one of the... When you're saying Nigeria, when you're talking about Nigeria, you have to talk about us. You have to talk about Inter Lagos, that this football team in Nigeria that if you happen to be in Lagos, you have to catch an Inter Lagos game because, one, they play fantastic football. It's a vibe in their stadium. We're producing players that go on to play in the national team at all levels. So from under 17s up to the first team. And then also, how do I put it? Almost like it's the face of Nigeria.
Yes, I think guys like as Lanre has said now, we need to, as Nigerians, as young Nigerians, we need to support Inter Lagos, follow them on Instagram. Let's support, let's go watch their games, and let's continue to grow it and build it. So Lanre, I think as I said, it's been incredible, getting an insight into you, into what you do. And again, just to shed light on the great things you're doing for Nigeria, Nigerian football, Nigerian sports in general, and African sports. It's always commendable for someone that doesn't just talk the talk, but they walk the walk, because it's very easy to talk about wanting to improve things, but not actually do that. So again, I commend you, and it's been great talking to you today. I hope you had a great time.
For sure, dude.
Yeah, I hope we'll see you soon.
Anytime.
Nice to talk to you, my bro.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.